Hi guys, Jumbo, Mbote, Hotep. So I hope that you are doing very well. Welcome to this presentation. I am Dr. Marcelin DABO, PhD on control systems, engineer in industry, a consultant engineer freelance, and also an independent researcher. So if you want to contact me, you can write at this email, contact@daboacademy.com. If you want to visit my PhD thesis, you can visit this website where you will be finding my PhD and also the slides for the presentation that I have done back on that 2010 in France. Okay, so I have been presenting some videos these last weeks according to first order and second order system for first order and second order systems on which I have been working since 2011 after my PhD. So there are some videos on first order systems and second order systems, as already mentioned, and I invite you to go and explore them, watch to them, and then take good information. So also I invite you to like, share, subscribe on my channel in order to support what I'm doing and also to be able to receive all the videos that I will be presenting during the next days, months, years, etc. Okay. So for these first order and second order ordinary differential equations or systems, I have chosen to talk only about um, presentations related to time. I will not be talking about transfer function explicitly in order to give details, etc. No. And also, I choose to talk about the stable systems. Okay. Okay. So now, if you are ready, today I will be presenting to you um, new concepts. I will be making also comparative study between the modern control engineering and then also my methods that I have introduced in order to compute time responses for second order dynamical systems, whatever the damping ratio value. Okay. So if you are ready, we can go through. So if you consider a second order dynamical system like this one, okay, you can have here you have the expression of the derivative, the second derivative written like this. It can also be written as S double dot, okay? And then this one can be written also as S dot, as you can see here, okay? S dot of time, right? And here you have the S of t. So observe here the A0 that we have here. Normally in this differential equation, we have the A0 is multiplying this expression here. Okay, so the A0 should go inside here at this place. And then what we will be having is A2S double dot plus A1S dot plus A0S equals B times the entrance. So E of t is the entrance, the excitation signal for our dynamical system. S of t is the output. What you should consider here is that we will, in this expression, what we have done is that we just divide by A0 here. And then I have defined this expression A1 over A0 as a natural time constant. Why? Because as you can see here, this expression here is multiplying a denominator that you have here, which is units, which unit is the time. Okay, so in order to have the same expression here, right? You can see it, the same unit here. You should simplify these two units, okay? Multiplying this constant by this denominator, and then the d of s that you have here according to time will have the same unit as this one, okay? And then if you just don't care about this, for example, and then you just focus on this expression from here, You can see that this is a first order dynamical system, and then normally for a first order dynamical system, what people consider is that A1 over A0 is the time constant, right? So if you add the um, if you add here the second uh, order part here in terms of derivative, you have a second order system. So this is why I have defined this expression A1 over A0 as a natural time constant. And then this expression here, the A2 over A0, as a time constant of the surface of time. Why surface of time? Because here you have the square of time in terms of units. Okay, this is how this is the concepts that I have introduced, and they are very useful, as you will be able to see. Here is the static gain, as you can see, and then because if this expression and this one vanish, you will just have the S of t equals this expression times E. And as we are in the steady state when these two conditions are, are, are verified because they go to zero, you will have that the S of t is a constant times the entrance. Okay? So now what we see is that if you consider this one as a constant of the surface of time, and then you consider this one as a natural time constant. So for the constant of surface of time, it can appear like something that is very strange, but keep in mind that it is very important. I didn't go further to check deeply what is the physical sense of this, if I am talking about the surface of time. Okay? So if you want to explore, you can explore. There is no, I wish you to find something very interesting. So if you take the constant of the surface of time and you take the natural time constant, you make the ratio between the first upon the second. Okay, it will give you what I have defined as a relative time constant that is here. Okay, this is the relative time constant, and then it is equal to 1 over 2 times xi, sorry, times omega n, meaning that the damping ratio times the natural pulsation here. And then if you want to have the only time constant that I have introduced for a dynamical second order system, which is here, and I did like tau s, and then this is equal to the double of the relative time constant I have defined, right? Okay, and then this result is really very important, so keep it in mind, because you will see it is thanks to this result that we have all the results that I am presenting here, of course, by using also another paradigm, okay? Modern control engineering today, what they say to us is that if you have a second order dynamical system, there is no time constant that you can have. So just a comment, to read this board, what you will have, uh, what you have on this board is that you have three columns. So the second column in the middle is only related to modern control engineering, while the last column here is related to the methods that I have developed and introduced as an innovation, as a scientific innovation of, I think that it is very important because it will help people to compute things that are not possible to do today in control systems, okay? So time constant is here. So the time constant for second order dynamical systems, modern control engineering is saying that today there are three cases according to the damping ratio. When you have a damping ratio that is equal to 1, like here, you have two time constants, tau 1 and tau 2, that are equal. So this is double time constants that you have, okay? And then when the time constant, when the damping ratio is greater than 1, you have also two time constants that are distinct and real. Okay, and then finally, when you have the system which is with a dumpy ratio less than one, so you have also two time constants that are complex conjugated. Okay, and then all of these conditions will give you solutions for your dynamical system as seen in previous videos that I invite you to check. For modern control systems, what you see, what we have for modern control systems, for all these cases, we have the time response that is given like this one as an approximation. The time response that is quite equal to 4 divided by the product C times omega n. This is what you have here. Okay. And even if you take for all the cases I was saying, so for this and so, and this one also. Okay. And then what you have for this formula, you can just imagine that it is an approximate formula as written here. And then in some cases, it is not working very correctly as I was saying. The formula that I have presented, that I present are here in terms of time response, in terms of rise time, and then these formulas are resumed in my book to appear. So, and they are more complete. For example, here I'm just taking example 1 of 2, 1.2 for the damping ratio, but in the book that you will be very happy to buy, I am sure, to support my job. So this damping ratio that you have here, uh, no, not this damping ratio, but this expression of the time response, of course, is given here, and you have also as a time responses between 10 and 90%, 20 also, and 80%. But coming back to here, if you consider the damping ratio equal to 1.2, you have the product that between pulsation, natural pulsation, and time response, and you can also have the same result for any other given time response between 0.1, and I have used the steps for the time for the damping ratio of 0.05 up to 1.95. Okay, and for all of them, I have given all the time responses as you can see here. For example, for as you can see here, for instance. Okay. So, if you consider that there is only one and single time constant, as I have defined it from here, and then if you take into account the fact that the paradigm that you will use is the same as for the first order dynamical system, meaning that if you want to reach a certain percentage of the equilibrium of the response, of the initial response, for example, of a dynamical system of first order, the time that you will put to reach that point is only a multiple of its time constant. So use the same paradigm here, and then this will bring you to all the results that I have here. Okay? And many, many more interesting things. So now let's go for here. I was saying if you take the damping ratio equal to 1, these are the formulas that are working very well. And then to show you, as in the first order dynamical system, we find the time constant at a given percentage, that is 63% for the initial response. Here, the defined time constant that is given here is reached at 26% of the initial response of the equilibrium of our system, of 26% of the equilibrium of the initial response of our second order system, for which the damping ratio is equal to 1. Okay, and then here you have the rest of the formulas that you can have here for this case. Okay, so now if you go for another one, if you consider a C greater than 1, so the formulas that are used today are here. It is always the same as I was saying previously. 4 divided by the product C omega n. And then this is not very precise, as I was saying, previously in the presentation. And then if you consider also the last case for which you have an underdamped dynamical system, so the formula is always the same. It is not really precise, as I will show you in examples, but you can see here, according to my new vision and paradigm, you will be able to compute with very good precision your time response of your dynamical systems. And this also, just a command can be used in another way to do a design of dynamical systems. So I invite you to check in the previous videos that I have done. Okay, so next, so I invite you to visit these videos. Okay, you just check these videos. These are in French. Okay, every video that is with the FR is FR stands for French, as you can see here. Okay, this is for French, and of course EN stands for English. So all the videos written EN here, you will find them in English. So please, you will be able to watch these videos to have more details about what I'm saying in terms of computations, etc. Okay. So now I was saying to you all these results are in my book to appear, which is here. This is a French version, and then I will be able, I hope, very soon to share with you the English version also. So don't forget, prepare yourself to order this book because there are so many things inside, and which can bring to you and to your process of understanding and development things in terms of temporal approach, so many things that can be very helpful for you. So now we can go for simulation. So let's consider here the first case. We are going to consider Xi equals 1. Let's start with Xi equals 1. Yes, here. So for those people who have checked the previous videos, you will see the concept is that I take some values here, I make the simulation here, because why I did this, it is because I wanted to compare the control laws that I have written. These are not control laws, these are just the solutions of my dynamical system I wanted to verify with the simulations of uh, my dynamical system that I have here. Okay, so now let's go to check what we are going to have. Going from here, so as you can see, Xi is equal to 1. Okay, let's go with that. The goal is to compute the time response at a given percentage. So now if I do this, I will get the answer very soon. It will plot a graph, and then here what you have is a graph. So recall that the omega n that we have is a randomized value. So I don't know the omega n. What I can do as Xi is equal to 1, I can compute the time response at 95% for Xi that is equal to 1. And then let me go to find the coefficient that will give me the right value to compute the time response. So at 95%, it is 4.742. Okay, so let me go 4.742. This is the omega n that I have, and then times Xi. Okay, so the Xi is equal to 1. So as it is the case, I will not be using the Xi here. I will just do this, and then the answer, the value is 0.4886. So let's try to find it on the graph. We are looking for a value of the time response at 0.95, meaning that 95% of the final value. And then going for that, we have this 0.4888. You see that the precision is at the fourth digit. Okay, so this to show you that our formula is very precise. Okay, but if you take the approximated formula that is given to by modern engineering control, here is the response. And then if you have 0.4121, you can see that to have it 0.4121, for example, let's say that you will have it at 91%. Okay, this is an approximation. So the more precise formula that I invited you to use is mine as an innovation that I have introduced to science and techniques in order to serve modern control engineering. Okay, so this is clear for you. I hope you can take as examples, for example, because I just generate a randomized value of omega, and then you can repeat and you will be checking, you will see what it gives you. Okay, if you want to know the value of omega n, you see that it is here, right? Okay, so want to show you also that at 26%, as announced, you can have the time constant defined in the sense of DABO, meaning in my sense. Okay, and then it is equal to 0.1019. If I do this, I have tau here. It is equal to 1 over omega n. And then look at the answer. Here is 102 after 0, and then 103 after 0. It's quite the same. Okay, because 26% of course is an approximation, but it is very good, right? So let's go and check now for other values. Go at the beginning. No, I will prefer to go from here. So let's consider 1.2. As we have here in the example that I have given to you, and then we will be able to compute this and compare this time to this one, and we will see what is going to happen. Okay? So to compute the time response at 95% of my system as a response, I can compute it exactly by doing first, of course, the simulation, because I will be needing omega n that is generated randomly to compute the time response. So what about the time response there? We have here, we are looking for a time response at 95%. We position ourselves here, and then we move this this way. Okay. And then what we have here is 0.66493. This is the time response of our system at 95% for a damping ratio that is equal to 1.2. And then if you want to check this, look, you do this. Okay, 1.2, I put it here. The approx, it is not yet the time for it, so I remove. And then I go with you at 95%. Then let's check what is the value, what 1.2. 6.192. We say 6.192. This is 0.6469, 0.6469. So you can see that we can just say that it is 0.65. So it is correct if you stop at 2 digits. Okay, so you can see that this is the precision of this formula is interesting. If you check for the approximation is here. If you take, for example, 1.2 here with this omega n, you see that it is happening at 0. You will have this at 0.4179, and 0.4179 0.4179 in terms of time, 41, it's around this point, not far, 79, it's already there. So you see that we are at 84% with this formula of approximation, which is not really what we are looking for. Okay, and in terms of approximation, we are a bit far of what we are looking for. Okay, so this is not, it is not correct. It is not correct. The formula is not correct. The best formula to use, I tell you, is what this innovation I have presented here. And then something else, if we want to compute the tau again, what we are going to do, we just consider this. Okay, and the percentage that we have to check now will not be this one. We have to find the percentage at a precise value that I have to check again in some pages of my book. Here is one page of my book. And then I have 1.2. Let me go a bit further and check it. So you have a chance, you have the luck today to see the inside of my book. So this is the ratios for the identification. And I am checking here 1.2, the omega n, it is not here. I am looking for the percentage to find the time constant. For 1.2, I have to position myself the value of 81% minus 100, meaning 19%, okay, of the response. If I position myself to 19% of my response, I will have the time constant in the sense of DABO, meaning in the sense of me, okay? So let's go, and then I say 19%, 19%, so if I position myself here, the time response, the tau of my system is equal to 0.088, okay, meaning 88 milliseconds. If I do this omega n, I just multiply by 1.2 here, and then I say it, you can see that it is 87 milliseconds. So there is just a small mistake that I can see here. And this is the time constant of my second order system in the sense of DABO. Okay, so now meaning myself. So this was for 1.2. Let's go and check for 1.65. If we do this, what we have here, what we have here, what we have here. I'm going again to simulate and then to check another point and to show you how I will be computing again at 95%. Okay, so 95%. So this is what you have here. 95% is here. And then for this one, you have 1.90, okay, 23. And then for this time response, this is what you have here. Okay, if I want to compute it, I will just do this. And then here I have 165 for this approximation. And then, so here what I have is 1.65 here. And then here I have 9.23, okay, divided by the omega n here. Okay? 1.9, let us check again. 1.65 as a damping ratio will give me a coefficient of 9.23. Let's go for 9.23 that I divide by omega n directly here. And this will give me 1.9016 if you want, okay? So 90, you can see that we can take the time response equal to 1.9 here. So 1.9 also is here, as you can see, okay? So the time response that you have here is this one, as you can see, at 95%. If you go and check for the approximated value, which will be this one, where I multiply 1.65 by the omega n, as an approximation, here is 65. You see that it is very different. You have 0.5. And then if you check for 0.5, you will have it at a given percentage. Yeah, this is it. Let's say it at 50% of your system. Okay, you see it here, which is very different of what is given in the formula of modern control system here, meaning you just use this and you will have the time response. So this is not exact. I invite you to use this formula for this kind of information that you can have. Okay? So, very, 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 very important. So this is why I am very happy to share this with you in order to help you go further on what you are doing. And this is my contribution in science and techniques. And I hope it will be helpful, useful for many other people throughout the world in order to compute this kind of results. You can see, as you can see, I can compute it very precisely to give you the results. And then if I have to go now for the time response of my system in the sense of DABO, I will just use this, okay? And then it is not at 20, it is no more at 26% because the particularity of this, the percentage at which you will find the time constant in my sense, is not always at the same point. It moves, okay? And if I show you in my book, you are very lucky today, my friend. So you will find it at 90%, okay? I take the complement at 100% for an initial condition that is equal to 0. And then let's go for 90% and just stuck there. And after we make the computation. So here we are, we have to find this value 1.4792, okay? If we compute this, we say at 90%. So I just put 90% here. You see, maybe I am wrong somewhere. Maybe I'm wrong somewhere. The time constant is 1 divided by c omega n. 1 divided by c omega n. C is 165. And I have this value. If I go to 10%, am I good or not? Yes, am I good? So I was wrong by saying to take the complements. It was not the complement, in fact. I should just consider this value at 10% as written. This is my CV as written here. Okay, as written here. As you can see here. Okay, so this is a percentage that you should have in order to check this at 1.65%. Okay, so anyway, because previously I said I should use 19% and this little bit because I was taking the complement at 100% and I don't, maybe there is a mistake somewhere. 50% tau 90, 1 over omega n 1.65, and then I get this. Okay. So anyway, this is the way to compute the value, compute the time response. Let me just check something for you. If I take again 1.2, what shall I have here? Evaluate. And then, okay, if I compute the tau, okay, 0.1041. Yes, 0.1041. That is a complement. Okay, it is quite good. It is quite good. So now if I take, so that was a complement as I was saying. 19 is a complement at 100% for 1.2. If I take 1.65, will I have this and take the complement at 90%? Let me check again. 1.65. So to check the tau, 1.65, tau is 0.42. 0.4271. Okay, I am around this point and it is at 10%. So I think that, yeah, probably there is something that is not regular here. Yeah, because what I have done is you see that the percentages are going up. Okay, and then here I just take the complement. So there is finally a mistake here. You should take a complement at 100% here. This is directly the value that you should consider, in fact. And then here there is a complement that you should take. So this is to be corrected. Okay, so this is the result that I want to present you. You see that here, if you do this, you can find the time response of your system for 1.65 exactly as this percentage. Okay, so okay, and then if I go to compute the approximate value, the approximate value for 1.65 as time response, I have to multiply this with 1.65 and I have 1.7086. If I go here, let's check for X what we will have. 1.786, 1.70. Let's say that we are good here. Okay, so you see that we are at 50%. That is far from 90 or 90 something percent. And then if you want again to compute your value for this, you just take 9.23 divided by what you know. So TR 9.23, 6.5, Let's go to verify 6.5 here. Just do it. Okay, you see that we are around 95% of the equilibrium, and then you see that we are at 6.5, which is very good and very different from the approximation. This is why I advise you to use my formulas as innovations that I have introduced. Okay, very important, these results that I'm sharing with you. And then also for the last one, that you can consider here. I will just take quickly 0.45 in order to avoid making the video last too much at the beginning. 0.9, we're already there, so let's do first 0.9. And then, so for this one, what you have here, okay, so for the 0.9, this is the time response at 95%, that is 0.9519. And then for this one, we can compute it. We can compute it by taking just, where is it, 0.9. It is here. Okay, the time response we want at 95%. It will be 95%. It will be this value. Okay. So if I take TR of 95, of course, for 0.9, so you see the value is here, and then the result is here, 0.9517. So the difference is only at the fourth digit, as you can see here. Okay? And then let's go and do it for 0.7, for example. Evaluate. So for 0.7 here, I want to compute the time response at 95% of the equilibrium here. Just move it a bit. Yes. And then you have this response 0.3167 here. So the time response at 95% for 0.7, what it will give me? It will give me this value 2.9, almost a 3, but let's just take 2.9. 2.9, and then this is 0.3167. It is exactly the same that we have here. Okay, let's take for the last one 0.45, and then we will see what we will be having. So this is it. And then if we check this one, we have here the 95%. And then here, so this is the time response 0.2714. The time response that we have here for 45 will be given by following formula 4.014. Now 2.149. 2.149, and then the response is here 2713. So you see always the last digit is the only difference. So thank you for watching. I hope that you have enjoyed this presentation. I don't want to make it last too much. And then recall that today I have presented just a comparative study between my methods, my technical innovation, scientific innovation to compute on time responses versus the modern control engineering today. And as I showed you, is that modern control engineering today cannot have the same results with what I can show you, what I have shown you, and what I have presented you also. So if you consider this, and then we go for the approximation, for example, you can see that the approximation is saying you just have 4 divided by omega n times the c, and this is 1.1220. If you go for 1.1220, you have something a bit far, okay? 12, for example, is around here, okay? They use it probably as for settling time, okay? But it is the same formula that is used also for the time response. Of course, if it is used for the settling time, I agree. But if you use it to compute at 95% or 90%, that is not correct, okay? So thank you for watching, and I hope that you have enjoyed. For any questions that you can have, please feel free to contact me. And as told, all the results are resumed in the book that you have seen some extract. So I hope that you will be able to buy yours, and then let's keep in touch for other videos. Again, thank you, and then wishing you all the best. Parentis nagadi si vos te utrubias, mantenha vos fica drito. Deus adiante.